Welcome to episode 422 of Salcedo Paranormal. And tonight I'll be talking about the books I've written along with the paranormal. For full shows, visit salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. This is a full show, by the way. Don't know why I said that. And you can find all episodes there along with links to social media and other ways to contact me at the podcast page. That is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. Thank you all for listening, whether you make it to the live streams on Discord or if you listen on the podcast or YouTube feeds. Or if you listen on the Troubled Minds radio network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. There you can hear replays of 2 episodes of my show every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right before Troubled Minds radio comes on. I want to thank, as always, Michael Strange, host of Troubled Minds Radio, and Liam Martin, Rohan, of the Exile Minds podcast, for producing my show and putting it on the radio. And that includes the music that you hear at the beginning and end of every show over there. If you'd like to support the show, there are a few different ways to do that. You can always share the show or rate and review it on your podcast platform of choice. I've also, again, written some paranormal fiction and nonfiction books that I'll be talking about tonight that you can check out on Amazon. And then I have direct donation links through PayPal and Venmo, and then also Patreon. Looking at starting some Patreon content either in July, probably August, but we'll see about July as well. So, and then of course, help is never expected, but always appreciated, since there are expenses in making the podcast and also in going to, let's say, more events in the future related to the paranormal, whether they're movies or Paracons, in the case of the one later on this year I'm going to. And again, that is the Mid-Michigan Paracon. That's in Mount Pleasant. And I always include a link to that event on the episode description now. Let me know if you all are going to attend as well, and we can maybe meet up there for anyone that is interested enough or lives close enough to go there. And be happy to meet anyone that listens to the show there. But yeah, so there's always expenses with the equipment and research materials, and then just trying to get out there as much as possible. So, yeah, definitely appreciated. Never expected, but anyway, so yeah, tonight I'm going to talk about some of the books I've written, and more in the paranormal realm. Just to, because I know I always mention the books in the beginning of the show, and for anyone who is into those kinds of books, this isn't so much a plug for just the sake of plugging my own things, but it's more so that to let you all know sort of what I've written about, and to go from there. So, let me see here. So I'll get to the first one here that I want to talk about, and that is, it's called The Red Lake Entity. And I'm just going to read the description here, and then I'll go into the storyline a bit, at least a little bit. This says, the description says here, when a group of ghost hunters investigate a mansion steeped in the history of the most powerful people on the planet, they get more evidence of the paranormal than they ever expected. A young girl appears before their eyes, bearing a warning of imminent destruction for the living and the dead alike. And of course, that's the end of that. This is paranormal fiction, but also science fiction as well. This is the first of these 2 books that I have written in this sort of genre. And I really enjoyed it because I started off mainly interested in science fiction as a kid, and then growing up, until I started having all my experiences. And then some years ago now, let's see here, when this came out. Checking on this. I don't think it says, but it'll say in the book. But yeah, so I decided to get into this this realm of mixing, really putting the paranormal into a science fiction setting, and going with that route. And it was a lot of fun in that it was sort of just taking what I've heard and read and seen over the years and putting little bits and pieces of that into the story. So it's about this this team of paranormal investigators, and they go to check out this house that used to belong to at one time, the ruler of the world and their family. And this ruler was basically terrible, so much so that he was assassinated using basically stealth and technology. But when it happened, his family was with him. So this team is investigating this place where this happened many, many years ago. And when they get in there, they see this light that starts to appear in the basement through their cameras, I believe. And a girl steps out of it. Young, let's say maybe teenage, I can't remember now, around there. Young girl steps out of this light. But she doesn't disappear again. She stays there and is looking around. And so they go to talk with her. And she basically tells them that there is a threat to the world, and basically both sides of it. In other words, the physical and non-physical realms are both in danger. And she's there to sort of spread the message about that and hopefully get in touch with the world's leaders, and also try to figure out what she can do to stop this threat. So, and this is the threat basically is the title of the book here. So I think I'll just leave that at that. Let you all check that out for yourselves. And but I had to say, I think I mentioned before in previous shows that the little girl in this book is sort of inspired by this series of experiences I had with this girl that made contact with me in different ways through dreams and sightings and things like that in my own apartment. Again, I've talked about that in previous shows. Go check those out. My experiences. And so this was sort of slightly inspired by that. And I just realized now it's sort of similar, not so much the sci-fi end of the world thing, but the appearance or the manifestation of this spirit that needs to tell people something. And of course, it's different between real life and again, a science fiction adventure action novel. But yeah, so it was a lot of fun to write. I don't know if I'll ever get to writing another book like that. I've started one, but I'm mainly in podcast mode at this point. I really do enjoy doing this whole process more now than writing. But it was fun to do while I was able, and maybe, who knows, someday I'll do it again. I'll continue that book I haven't finished yet. It's not the only one I haven't finished. There's many others that I've started and then stopped. And I think it's just how it goes when you are a writer, even if it's for only part of your life or whatever. So, the other paranormal science fiction book that I wrote is called From Unknown. And let's see here. So I'm using the Amazon page to read the descriptions here. And let me see. Okay. This one says that the summary of this one says, when survivors of a city caught in the middle of an onslaught of deadly energy waves and rays I don't like that writing. Anyway, flee to their underground shelter. They assume all they have to do is wait until the war ends and leave the area once it is safe to come out. But when they start getting messages from those who perished in the initial attack, they discover that they may not make it out of their temporary home alive after all. And so this is sort of a sci-fi play on the whole Grim Reaper and or I guess you could say Final Destination sort of, or Fate sort of idea of that, where these people they have this city, almost city-sized shelter underground, and they're on the border between two warring countries, basically, and so they go underground because, of course, they've been preparing for just in case this happened. Their leaders have anyway, and but then they start getting messages on their different devices from people that had passed saying, I forget now exactly what it was, but to be careful and that you're not safe, basically. And then people start noticing, and other people, mainly not even the person themselves, that they have a finger mark on the back of their neck. Some of them do. And those people that have that mark will start to go after each other for no reason, to basically kill each other. And this keeps on happening in the story. And until they sort of they figure a way out of this shelter, another way out. And really, they don't have any way to stop this, at least at the beginning of the book. So, so just another sort of action sci-fi, but with the paranormal thrown in there, mixed together. And so yeah, it was a lot of fun to write. Again, it's been a little while, so I don't remember all the details as well as I used to. And but those are both there online for you to check out. So those are my fictional books on the paranormal. I wanted to share those. But I've also written a couple of nonfiction books. One was with some friends, and that one, let me see here. I gotta find. It's called, let's see here. I lost it. It is, okay, it's The Darkness Rises, Real Life Accounts of the Paranormal. And this book has some of my own experiences in it, not all of them, but also a few from others. A few people that also help with that book. I think 5 or 6. I forget now who. They're all in there listed, and so it's a book of personal experiences that people have had. So it was a lot of fun to gather those stories and put that out there. And there's also another one I've written using that same sort of base title of, and this one is a different in that it's a collection of articles that I wrote about the paranormal several years ago now, that I originally put online on Facebook and I think on a blog website and everything. But I put them all together and put them in this book. So it's all about haunted places and different types of the paranormal events, phenomenon. And again, that was a lot of fun to work on as well. The stories, I mean, they're researched, but only as far as I was able to online. So don't be surprised if you find some things in there that maybe are not quite so accurate. Did what I could, obviously, but still was a lot of fun, and just a good sized collection of articles there. I can't remember now how many are in there. Several though. And I'm working on another nonfiction book at the moment. Slowly. In fact, I haven't worked on it for a while now. But the the idea behind this new one is basically putting all my experiences together, among a couple other things, and putting that out as a book. And I've also been collecting some of the stories and rewriting them that I shared on the early days of my podcast, and I'll be including those in the book as well. So that's the plans for that book. I don't know when it'll come out. I haven't worked on it in a while. I need to get back to it. But I do technically have one fiction and one nonfiction book going technically, but again, I'm not even going to try to give a release date estimate because I have no idea. Pretty busy as it is with this show. So, but yes, that's all the books I wanted to talk about. But they were all. I mean, obviously, it's amazing to me how connected fiction and nonfiction are when it comes to the paranormal and this whole idea of where do people get their ideas. And I think some come from experiences, some come from, and by experiences I should say, some come from personal experiences that they've had. But I also think that people, when they hear about other people's experiences or read about them, that can also lead to a story later on, where they take some element or one or more elements of this experience they heard about and change them around, add to them to make sort of more of a exciting whatever they're making, book, movie, video game. I think it all sort of plays. It's all entertainment. It's all fiction. But again, going back to this idea I have, that I said before, I really do think that all fiction is reality somewhere else. And just a matter of what other dimension or universe that all that is happening in. And if we create those universes through making all of this fiction and nonfiction somehow. So I really do enjoy looking into, that's why I enjoy doing the book reviews now, because of all the parallels you can see between stories and then actual accounts of experiences. And these concepts that we always talk about, portals, time anomalies, spirits, energy fields that are just recordings of previous events, all these things, the human, the mind, as far as, or this consciousness, when you're asleep, the way it seems to travel to other dimensions. And I think all those dimensions can overlap, the astral, the dream, the paranormal, all those things, multiverse sort of things. Again, I'm going back to a couple of dreams I've had where I'm pretty sure I was in some other version of me in some other universes, and those were really quite odd after I woke up. Not while they were happening. I wasn't going to really get into actual experiences in the show, but just sort of happening. But yeah, so I think it's all connected, and you hear about people that say, I got this idea and I don't know where I got it from, or it sort of came either partially or fully in a dream or daydream or whatever. And that is always amazing to me. I don't doubt that we do make our own ideas. I'm sure we do. And but I also think there can be other sources of information and whether it's conscious or not, that sometimes we're able to access or receive messages from that sort of help with that, make that possible. And I think collaboration is also a big part of it as well. And that's collaboration on all kinds of levels with people here, with other beings, higher self, or any kinds of spirits. I think we're always taking in information of one kind or another, and I think that can help to give us ideas and help us form ideas. And so, yeah, it's I did enjoy being just a writer while I was just that before I started the podcast, and so but now it's really fun just to do the show as well. So, but yeah, so I'm working on that book, and has all my experiences in it, or at least most of them. I may have to update it. The problem with updating it is if I keep on doing that as I'm working on it, then I'll never actually put it out. So I'm going to have to stop with that at one point once I get the other sections in the book finished. But yeah, so and of course I've always loved reading books by others, Stephen King especially, obviously, as you all know that listen to the show, but also Dean Koontz. I liked a lot of his stuff as well. His Odd Thomas series to me has always been amazing in a way. Always enjoyed that one. And and then Stephen King, I mean, so many books of his. Dark Tower series, The Stand. So many I can name that I don't really need to. And so yeah, again, just want to thank everyone for listening, and without you all, I wouldn't be at episode 422. I don't think. I think I would have stopped a long time ago. So be sure to follow everyone that is ever a guest on the show. And I'm sure I'll be having Jen on again to talk about more haunted objects and the Amityville location as well at some point, because that'll be good. We talked about that a little while back, and I mentioned that I was going to do that, cover that house and that whole case, and so she wants to be a part of that. So that's going to be a lot of fun whenever we're able to do that. So also looking forward to, as of now anyway, covering The Mist, the story in Skeleton Crew by Stephen King on Wednesday with Derek again. Another great friend that's helped the show a lot, and you can hear him a lot also on Trouble Minds Radio. He calls in when he's one of the regular callers there. So, but yeah, and all the other guests, be sure to, if they have links in the episode descriptions, be sure to check those out. And so yeah, and then I'm looking forward to, again, going to this Mid-Michigan Paracon. I'll be walking around, listening in on whatever is going on. Hopefully, if I can get permission, I can be recording some of what's going on there, whether it's around me or wherever. Also, if anyone is there and you happen to recognize my voice or anything like that, and you have a true paranormal experience to talk about, I'd be happy to record that and use that on the show if you would like to be featured that way. So, but yeah, and that's on November 4th and 5th. That is a Saturday and Sunday this year. And that's actually the weekend right after Halloween. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be there both days, but there are individual day passes. And yeah, so I think that covers everything. Thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care.